Okay, so what are the sniffing tools first, right? So the most common and easy to use tool is of course Wireshark, previously known as Ethereal, I guess. So what's its purpose? It does all sorts of sniffing activities, and it provides a nice graphical user interface that allows you to select different protocols, to drop down into the structure of each packet, and to for example, to reconstruct the TCP session. So you can not only see all the packets in the session, you can basically replay the session and see in a separate window what the communication between the browser and the web server was, for example. Okay, it can be easily extended, but no one basically does that, because what Wireshark is required for, it does well without any extensions. And if you want to build your custom tools, there are other means for that, and I will show you the examples, right? So you can filter right from the start. Yeah, you can select different interfaces, you can select different portions of traffic using common syntax that is inherited from TCP dump, right? And yeah, you can save that to pcap files, and you can open previously saved pcap files coming from other Wireshark instances or from other similar software. Okay, and there are recent security reports. Yeah, but actually there are regular security reports about Wireshark, because it's written in C, which implies that in this large amount of source code, some errors that lead to security vulnerabilities are just inevitable. So that happens. And keeping in mind that Wireshark accesses network interfaces with the highest privilege possible, you could imagine that security implications of vulnerabilities in that software are quite serious. And sometimes it's really slow. Yeah, so when dealing with a lot of data and you don't have a lot of RAM, so you will experience some serious troubles. Yeah, so it can crash, it can hang, and it can do all sorts of nasty stuff. But yeah, just keep in mind that you have to have a lot of memory to run that, and try to filter out all the traffic that you do not need in order not to capture it in the first place when you start capturing traffic from the interface. There is also this Windows only tool, Cane Enable. It's it's a rather historical example of how hacking tools looked back then. Yeah, of course it's still used, it's still actively used in the wild. Um, Young people especially, yeah, the so-called script kiddies, they really like it because it does a lot of useful stuff, useful in offensive meaning, of course, uh, without any effort. Yeah, so with zero effort you get a spoofer, a sniffer who works with Ethernet, Wi-Fi, and it can reverse known password encryption schemes and so on. So you just run it, you just see what happens, and if you are on a public Wi-Fi access point, life is beautiful. Yeah, but just don't get caught. Yeah. So you can play with that just to see that Windows is not an outsider in the security world. Some people run it, and some people do really interesting things based on that platform. Okay, now let's get down to the console. Yeah, so where the things get really serious. TCP dump is a really strong tool that is specifically designed to capture the traffic. You can monitor traffic there as well. There are different debug levels, verbosity levels. You can see traffic in terms of connections, in terms of particular packets. All these can be saved to external files, text files for output, and pickup files for traffic, and so on. So this is a pure Unix expired thing that works anywhere from Linux to FreeBSD and from commercial Unix distributions to macOS. So that is a point of attention if you want to do something really quickly, and especially when that's not your machine. Okay, so you can easily install that, or most probably it's already there, because yeah, TCP dump is used not only for hacking, it's also a very useful tool for network troubleshooting, and most advanced and technically savvy network engineers, they know how to use it, and they do that. T-Shark is really powerful substitute for TCP dump, I guess, because it's basically a console version of Wireshark. It's cool, it's faster, yeah, and it as well as TCP dump can be used to capture a lot of traffic, save it to pickup files, and then grab these files and somewhere on a much stronger and more powerful machine analyze that with Wireshark or something else. Okay, so it's there by default when you install Wireshark, or you can download it separately. So yeah, so creators of Wireshark know the drawbacks of the product, and they give you some workarounds. Okay, but again, the most you can get out of T-Shark is in TCP dump already. And now Scapy. Scapy is the most wicked, cool stuff you could get in order to work with the network. Okay, so it's basically, as I already mentioned before, I guess, it's a Python module that you just run, and it imports all the interfaces, all the classes required, and you can build your network applications of any level of complication, and extend them to perform virtually any network task. Okay, and there are already a lot of recipes for that on Stack Overflow, so you can just start using it right away. There is a really cool tutorial, and if you're not familiar with Python, that's basically not a problem. Everything you need to know is just the structure of network protocols, yeah, so this encapsulation, and what are the upper layers and lower layers of all forms of network communication. So if you know that, you can use Scapy right now without any Python skills, any previous Python skills, which would be cooler, of course. That would save you much time, but still, you can just download and start using it right now, and it's available in most distributions of Linux, and Homebrew installs it for macOS as well. No idea how it happens on Windows, but yeah, Linux anyway, Linux or any flavor of Unix is a better platform to start working with the network security anyway.